can we learn from Carson Beck as Georgia and Florida State get ready for the Orange Bowl? Dean Legge and Ryan Curley poolside here in Miami. Look, I think there's some things that you can learn. It is a bowl game, so I wouldn't put a ton of stock into it necessarily, Ryan, but there's going to be a lot of these guys, maybe not all of them, that come back that he's going to be throwing to. And I think that you want to set the tone in these games. I don't know that the result necessarily matters a great deal. I think it would be a really bad loss for Georgia. But for Carson, coming out, executing, doing all that, that'd be a big deal.
It being clean, them maybe being able to hit a couple explosive plays, because it's my guess, my prediction that Carson Beck's not going to play 4 quarters on Saturday.
Is that your guess?
That is my guess.
So
I think that's probably most people's guess.
Georgia's a 20-point favorite.
Yeah.
You're saying he's not going to... Just want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah. So I think that Georgia will win this game by a big margin, and that means that Carson Beck will likely get subbed out of it at some point. And for him, I think, like you said, it's a momentum thing moving forward. He makes the decision to return to Georgia in 2024. You've got a chance to be the best quarterback in college football next year.
His marketing agency said...
Oh, what did they say?
That he is a Heisman favorite, I believe, something like that.
Well, he is.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility to see a guy on one of the top teams in the country, the betting favorites to win the national championship next year, being the Heisman frontrunner, so to speak, or a Heisman frontrunner. He never did have a Heisman moment. Did Jaden Daniels? I mean, you don't have to have Heisman moments to win it. And I don't know that Caleb Williams necessarily did. I speak as a Heisman voter through all these years. Sometimes it's just evident who the best player is. And if he comes back and is the best player at the most important position, he'll win the Heisman. Now, I got to tell you, I think he'd rather win the national championship, frankly.
Oh, I mean, 100%. And look, Heisman was on the table this season.
A little bit.
It wasn't. It would have been really, really tough, but he could have gotten invited to New York. That was definitely on the table.
Yes.
And kind of those last 2 games against Georgia Tech and Alabama squashed that, just the way that those played out. But for him, it is moving forward. Look, next year, this offense isn't going to be – it might not be as stacked with weapons. When you take out the best weapon that Georgia's ever had.
Yeah. I don't know about ever had. Certainly one of the best.
One of the 2 or 3 best offensive players Georgia's ever had.
Yeah.
You're taking that out of the equation. You're probably not going to have your 2 senior running back. We don't know about some of these guys at this point in time.
Yeah, we don't know, but we know Etienne is coming in.
We know Etienne's coming in.
We know
London Humphreys is coming in from Vanderbilt. The kid from Miami, I'm blanking on his name.
You have, you have guys coming in who are ready to play, ready to party is the term I usually use, that have an opportunity to be really good. I don't know what's going to happen with Ladd McConkey, which is bizarre. I mean, shouldn't he just go to the NFL?
I think he should go to the NFL, unless it's a medicals thing or they're just telling him, hey,
it's
not a tape thing.
The reason I say that is because he's not declared and he's signed with the same agency that Carson Beck is signed with. So, I don't know. But we don't know. Oscar Delp is good. Not as good as Bowers. I don't think there's much comparison about that. But they're not going to be hurting for talent. I mean, Dylan Bell is a person we've not mentioned. Dylan Bell could become a real problem out there for folks.
He could be, and you know that they can use him in all sorts of ways. They will need people to step up on offense. Now, that did happen this year because Bowers didn't play every game, Ladd McConkey didn't play every game, and like you said, Dylan Bell stepped up. Marcus Rosemy-Jackson stepped up when he had to. Don't really know the answer on him either. I would lean NFL, but
you would think. Those guys, there's a few guys left that do not have to leave because of their COVID year exemption. There's a few of them. I talked about that a lot, but today when Kirby was talking about Kendall Milton, this certainly sounds like it's Kendall Milton's last game, the way that Kirby's inflection at least, but we don't know what we don't know. And I do want to emphasize here, we know Carson Beck is coming back, and that's a huge significant thing because he really could be the best quarterback in the country next year. I don't necessarily know who would be in front of him, perhaps Shedeur Sanders, but Carson Beck doesn't have to do as much as Sanders does, but I like Carson Beck a lot, and I think that he made a lot of plays this year and really fought the whole way. Stetson Bennett didn't just arrive in 2021 and take over for JT Daniels. People are forgetting the game against Kentucky in 2020 and Florida and before. You know, he really didn't play well against Alabama and Tuscaloosa at all. I know that's not anything new for folks, but Carson needed this year to get where he's at right now, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you just didn't know what you were going to get from him because it had been so long. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead.
Just don't, it's just not, you know, we talk a lot about EcoPoly, and I've been having to stand up here every now and then because
that is not EcoPoly.
This is not EcoPoly. It's just not as comfortable. And our friends at EcoPoly down there in Dodge County, it's just a more comfortable chair. That's all I'm going to say. You can check out more about them down below. We've talked about this a lot. We really appreciate it. We can't come down here without it. They make it way easier. So you can get red and black, 20-year warranty, completely recycled plastics in the heart of Georgia, manufactured, employing Georgians in the heart of Georgia. And I think, you know, for Carson, it gives him the ability coming back to not just the NFL. His opportunity in the NFL is going to be there now. It's going to be there next year. It'll be there the year after that. It gives him the opportunity to perhaps finish something that he really wants to finish at Georgia. How many guys have been at their institution 5 years?
Not a lot anymore.
You've had a lot of that with Stetson and then now Carson. And in theory, you'll have that with Gunnar Stockton. I mean, at that point, when Gunnar gets his shot, or Ryan Puglisi, you know, they will have been there for a while too. Does that matter? I think it does matter to some degree. Now, how much, I don't know.
It matters to an extent with development. What does Carson Beck actually want to do? He wants a ring. He has said that.
Yes.
And that has circulated. And
is there anything more awesome than winning the national championship? I guess winning the Super Bowl, but like getting drafted. Getting drafted really high is a massive accomplishment.
And the Heisman, the MVP and stuff like that. Those are personal moments.
One of these days we'll have Matthew on here, and I'm not joking when I say that. One of these days we'll get Matthew on here. It might be in 5 years, but I wonder if you asked him, because I remember interviewing Matthew on the lead up, and he knew he was going to the Lions. He was very excited about it. We talked about it off the record at the time. And I wonder what was more important for him in his life. You know, now he's got the 4 girls, and Kelly's been through some stuff, which is really difficult. I wonder, in his sporting life, what was the most important achievement he had? Was it going number 1 overall, which is such a rare thing in sports, or was it winning the Super Bowl? My suspicion is, although it might be close, it would be winning the Super Bowl, because everybody can go number 1. And not a lot of people can win the Super Bowl. You got to be right place, right time. And when you're a quarterback, you got to really do it. For Carson Beck, he has the capability of winning a national championship. I mean, you know, one of the quarterbacks that's in the Final Four this year, Milroe, help me out. Well, Milroe, Pinnock,
Ewers and J.J. McCarthy.
One of those guys is going to win the national championship. I'm not sure I would take any of those guys over Carson. Ewers, maybe?
Maybe Penix.
Oh, you like Penix, that's right.
I like Penix a lot.
Yeah, I would take Carson over him, personally, as a college quarterback.
I'd have to think about that one a lot more. I think Penix has more arm talent, but Carson might be a better quarterback than him.
But the point is that...
And that matters. And we saw that throughout the year.
Oh, yeah.
We saw that throughout the year. I think we saw him grow.
We definitely saw him grow.
My vantage point at the Tennessee game was very good for being able to just kind of watch him do his job.
Yeah.
Watch him make choices, make decisions, which is most of his it's half of it. Throwing is one half, the other part is making the choice and making the right choice. And watching him pick apart Tennessee's defense was very interesting to see. And
it's not about big balls.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was about hitting the right one, hitting the right guy, and that's always going to matter more than hitting. The big balls come. They'll come.
Should.
And they should. And they should have more for Georgia this season than it did. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about being flashy over top. And it wasn't like that with Stetson either.
No, they surgically carved people up at times. Oregon, I don't know, Michigan.
You saw him grow with pocket presence over the year. The amount of times you would see him tuck. Oh, it was like basketball moves, dude. It was like Euro steps and stuff some of the time.
He knows how to play the position. I think that Georgia will benefit from that greatly. Right at the end here, one thing that will benefit you a lot, make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. The link is right down below. We'll have all the coverage for you from the Orange Bowl. I don't know where we're going to be doing it from in terms of riding home, but
we're working on
that.
We're without car.
Breathlessly working on that. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you on the website. Thanks for watching.